won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You bet.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome in here to Pregaming on Sports Money. TGIFF. We have made it to the end of the work week, onto the weekend where we are going to put some work in and see if we can't smash these books and get that money. It's going to be a fun weekend. You guys know the deal. We got a busy day tomorrow. We got a big game on Sunday, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm reminded as I look at tonight's board of what it's going to be like come summertime, where we just have a few baseball games to bet on here, because it was slim pickings out there this evening. We've only got college basketball and the NBA to work with. And then on top of that, it's a short NBA card. It's a short college basketball card. And frankly, the trade deadline was yesterday. So we're going to try to come at it, give you guys two plays in the NBA I think are knockdown dragouts. I've got three plays for you in college hoops, and you'll have plenty of time because the Instagram play of the day features a side and total in the UConn and St. John's game. So you'll have plenty of time to go check that out. I have to get a technology appointment on the horn here this afternoon, so I'm excited to get that underway. Can't deal with this crap no more. It's got to stop. And you guys can check it out. Shark and I went live for 30 minutes this afternoon to talk about the Super Bowl. Man, what did I give out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plays and 7 props to make the bookies' panties drop. That's what we're going to do out there for Super Bowl this Sunday. Plus 240. AJ Barner, anytime touchdown. I got the side parlayed. I got a parlayed side. Oh, it was just good to wrap up the NFL season with my guy Shark, getting it done, talking to you guys about, I thought, some really great props. And this is where kind of comes in helpful to have somebody breaking some of it down, because, you know, I put my lasso around 7+ money prop bets, but I've still got 3 or 4 more I want to get involved with. So I talked a little bit about the betting strategy today. How do you go out there and attack it? Because listen, it's not just another game. It's not just another day. And those people that feel that way are old school. Now listen, you don't want to go blowing the bankroll on one single game. But because there's one single game and there's so many markets open up in the player prop vicinity, that you have to treat it a little bit different and with some respect. And so if they're telling you it's just another game, I'd stop following them, because it's not just another game. Now, doesn't mean you go heavy. Doesn't mean you blow the bankroll on betting the Seattle Seahawks. But I talked a little bit about the strategy around player props, because there's hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of these props now. And there really are some fun plus money props out there. They've got the cross sport props out there. You can get takedowns in the UFC on Saturday, parlay them against touchdowns being thrown in the NFL on Sunday. So there's just tons of ways to go about getting paid. It is not, I repeat, it is not just another game. Now, it's the last game of the NFL season. That's true. You won't be able to bet on football until the summertime for at least the NFL and college football. That is true. But hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of props. And what that does is it affords you I think it's even better shot. You have an even better chance to go out there and look at how these lines are moving to find the right props you want to use to get paid. So do take that into consideration and stop following those people that tell you it's just another game, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking. Oh, I only got one bet for the Super Bowl. What are you, lazy? You just don't want to work? I hear that sometimes, and that's exactly what I think. I don't know about you guys, but that's exactly what I think. Oh, no play today. One play today. Are you fucking lazy? You couldn't scrap? You couldn't roll your sleeves up and actually cap? What happened? We're just taking shortcuts. We're just fucking charlatans. Get your fucking notebooks out. Get the player prop sheets open and start looking at some stats. Start looking at offenses versus defenses. People go on camera and say, I just got one bet for the Super Bowl. Really? I mean, the only thing that would make my head explode is if they said it was fucking tails. I got one bet for the Super Bowl. It's tails. Great job, you fucking scumbag. Anyhow, that's the way I think about the Super Bowl is there are a ton of player props. And now listen, I don't think that means you go in there and you fucking start laddering out everybody to score 6 touchdowns. You got to be realistic about it. But there's twice as many player passing props. There's twice as many receiving and rushing props. There's all kinds of action out there to get paid. And I found a good one I like. You know, a lot of people, I went through this a little bit today in the show. The expectation is that TreVeyon Henderson is going to have a big day. Maybe he does. Nothing you've seen so far indicates he will. In fact, in the biggest game of the season, when they needed it, Ramondre Stevenson got 25 carries. But I really like Hunter Henry. Tight, chippy, tick, 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 knock it down type of spots out there. And so it turns out sharp respected bettors are betting on Hunter Henry to have a big game, touchdowns and receptions. Well, guess what? Hunter Henry to get 3 or more receptions in each half is plus 850. Now, it's just another game. If something like this comes through and cashes, it could change your bankroll. Just another game. You tell them they're being lazy. You tell them to come over here and I'll teach them how to go out there and make some cash and build these fucking bankrolls because that shit pisses me off. It ain't just another fucking game. It's a big game. Now, I care less about the sides. I care less about the teams, but plus 850s. Drake May, 100 yards or more in any quarter passing. Plus 150. Doesn't mean it's going to cash, but it's plus 150. We're parlaying together sides to get a plus 120. This is a plus 150. Over 2.5 players to get a passing attempt. Some of these are fun bets. I get that. But we know there's 2 quarterbacks. If one gets hurt, there's a third quarterback. If they want to try to run the Philly special, that's a wide receiver or a tight end or who knows, running back, throwing a pass to the quarterback or anybody else. Over 2.5 passing attempts is plus 160. I tell you this. If they haven't looked at all the props, they're lazy. I got 2 plays for you in the Super Bowl. Fuck you. I got 2 words for you. Fuck you. Stop being lazy. That's what I say. That's what you say to them. That's what we say to them as we try to build these bankrolls here. So make sure you check it out. My guy Shark and I broke it down, gave you guys a whole bunch of plays. Best bets. We got the best bet segment, the last best bet segment of the season out there for you guys to check out as well. And can you believe I talked about Panarin going to the LA Kings? You know, Panarin, I believe he wears number 72. He's got to get a new number. I don't know what's going to play out, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, the fucking mascot wears number 72. How about that? I don't even know how the mascot ended up on 72, but your new superstar comes in and he can't wear his number because your fucking mascot's wearing it? I don't know what to make of that. That was something that really surprised me today, but still funny. Still funny. The opening ceremony is going on right now for the Olympics. They've already had some events underway. I already had MMA Jeff texting me this morning, telling me about some curling plays. So we're underway. It's just like that. The Olympics sneak up and you're here. We won't have the NHL back until February 25th. How about speaking of NHL and hockey? Well, none other than the Penn State phenom lighting the world on fire. Popped some dude in the face, busted his jaw in 3 places for him, knocked some teeth out because of apparently some derogatory remarks about his mother. Bar fight. And all charges have been dropped. So Gavin seems to be a free man. They will not press charges. It looks like he was provoked. Apparently, if you're provoked in Penn State, you could pop somebody in the mouth. I don't know. That's not legal advice. That's just what I'm interpreting. And I'll tell you what, I was at a bar fight in Penn State one year. I don't recommend it. But it happened. And listen, apparently some of the graduated players have seats at the bar. And I had a friend who literally took it literal and said, I don't see your name on the seat. It doesn't take much more than that when everyone's been drinking all day to light the candle. So, in any event, some round the league stuff happening. You guys, the NBA coming back here from the All-Star or from the trade deadline. So, we'll talk about how I think that's going to affect one of the two games that's on the card here this evening. We'll get these plays out and underway. I've got to get the internet man. Maybe I'm going to have to smack around the internet man. I don't know. I'm not happy. Matter of fact, right before the show started, I saw the fucking thing reset. I'm looking at it going, really? We're resetting right now? Let's see if we can get to business, though, and get this show on the way for you guys. So got plenty of work to do. You can check it out. We've got some MMA Jeff giving you guys a plus 250 prop for the UFC Vegas 113 tomorrow. We've got the NFL show, the aforementioned NFL show, and the Instagram play of the day, which has a 2-spot feature in that UConn St. John's game, probably the biggest game of the night. So let's get to work. Before we get to work, you guys know the most important thing you can do is smash that thumbs up button. Show a little love to the Sports Money Network. Help us continue to grow this community. One and a like. Let's keep cashing. Let's stack it high. We'll let it fly and we'll get to work. There will be a boatload of action shared amongst the community this weekend here. We will have our guy, Ramon Scott, popping off at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Will pop off. My guy, C. Miggity Mac Daddy, and I will shoot the shit for college basketball around 11 a.m. And then around 5 p.m., we will be live for the UFC out of Vegas before we get ready for, and of course, it would only be right if we go around and talk touchdown scores for the big game. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun weekend. We've got a lot of work to do tonight, though. Lots of capping involved to be able to get the cash that we want. I'm expecting a 5-digit payout tomorrow from the UFC. I'm very fired up. Had a really great UFC. I looked back at it 6-2 on the last UFC card. So not to mention all those player props and live bets that we were making. So looking forward to it this weekend, you guys. I hope you are as well. Let's see who's checking in with us here. We did have a pretty good night last night. It was a nice little bounce back spot, so we needed that. Gained ourselves a little over 3 units. Went 2-1 on the free plays from Instagram. Had the Philadelphia 76ers plus 4.5. Had the over. Had the Austin Reeves over 3.5 assists. He had 2. Scumbag settled for a 2-pack. A 2-pack Shakur, but that's okay. Still gained, like I said, almost 4 units on the day. It was a good day over here. Would we go 5-3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-3. We had the Toronto Raptors minus 7.5. We had the Dallas Mavericks plus 8.5. So we went 1-1 in the NBA. We crushed the NHL. We got the Islanders. We got the Senators. We got the under 6 in the Carolina Rangers game. That was a 2-0 final. And that was a sweep of the NHL. 2 strong days to finish off the NHL after I was getting discouraged. Last weekend, I was definitely at the peak of discouragement. And then, of course, the Ottawa Senators. How can I forget that? How can I forget the Ottawa Senators getting that 2-1 win over them Philadelphia Flyers? And then college hoops, we split the card. We went 2-2. Got the under 141.5 in the Drexel Campbell game. Got it by the hook. That was a big hooker. Got the Merrimack game at minus 120. Lemoyne loses by 1. That sucked. And the double dipper, the Merrimack under, was just toast pretty much right off the inception. So, hey, let's go. Shout out to everybody that's here in the chat. Let's see what you guys have for best bets tonight. We need to work hard. We need everybody's help with some of these plays tonight because there are not a lot of plays for us to get involved with here. Blake M is here checking in. Says, let's fill our trap with coin tonight. That sounds like a good idea. Blake M, Nicholas Handy, Peter Gracia, Fernando Mendoza. My guys in the house there. Peter Gracia says, I'm leaning both teams can cover the T spread with the over. Are you talking about the Super Bowl? It's not a bad way to look at it. You get 11.5, 10.5. It'd be what, 39.5? It's not a bad way to look at it, Peter. Root you on, my friend. Blake M says, I got the over 45.5 on Super Bowl already. Props for me Sunday morning. We'll be talking some props tomorrow, of course, for the UFC show. Matter of fact, we'll probably go through, I would suspect you get a whole chance to, we'll probably rip through the whole prop board throughout the day there with the UFC. You guys know how it starts out there. It's kind of like slow start, a couple big fights, and then there's like some big interludes. We'll be firing through talking about prop bets. Probably scrub at least the DraftKings and FanDuel cards. We'll probably get through all of those and talk about, amongst the panel, talk about our favorite spots out there. So be some very qualitative programming for you guys. Shout out to Jay Main. Bo Jackson says, cash them Raptors. Yes, sir. They'll lose Sunday to the Pacers. I don't know. Bo, I don't know. I got the Pacers in a spot that they should win tonight. And if the Pacers should win tonight, are they going to win again on Sunday? I don't know. I'll tell you what, if the Pacers do win tonight, look ahead, bet them Raptors before that line swells. Jay Main says, Bobby Portis available to play 2+3s at home. Peter Grassi says, yeah, the Super Bowl. That's what I figured. My dude. Jay Main says, Ant Edwards over 32.5 points and assists. New Orleans Pelicans #1 shooting guard, scoring 3rd assist defense. That's a good looking play. For our guy, Jay Main, Bo Jackson says he likes the Pacers tonight. Jay Main likes the money line Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Bo Jackson says, yes, the Pacers will lose on Sunday. Yes, they sure will. All right, you guys, let's go. Let's get her done here. How about that? Could use a cup of coffee. It seems like, you know what? I'll forego the coffee and just fire it on some Red Bull and vodka tonight. Get her right. Got a busy night with all this capping going on. Guys, I hope you appreciate the amount of work that goes into it. Going live for 7 hours. There ain't no time to really cap. But that's where we catch up, because we can go through talking about all the player props, see what everybody likes, see how they want to get involved. I'll tell you what, I want to get involved with the Sharp Respected Betting Report tonight, and the Sharp Respected Bettors did jump in on Brown. What can Brown do for you? And it's kind of an interesting situation with the line, because it started at 15.5. It moved down to 15 before now coming back to 15.5. 73% of the bets, 83% of the cash are on Yale. And I get why, look, all that money coming in on the Yale side of things here, and then it moves towards Brown. So I get why it qualified as the Sharp Respected Betting Report, because some son of a bitch that they have a lot of respect for came through there and dropped the satchel on the Brown Bears out there. And it's ballsy, because they are 1-4 in their last 5. They are 0-4 in their last 4. They haven't even covered the spread. They haven't even sniffed the spread. They're 1.5 point dogs. They lose by, or favorites rather. They lose by 7 to Dartmouth. All teams Dartmouth. They're 1.5 point dogs to Harvard. They lose by a 10-pack. Those were both home games on top of that. They're 4.5 point dogs to Princeton. At Princeton, they lose by a 10-piece. And they get fucking flooded by Cornell by 22 points. That was at home as well. But here's the thing. They're on the road. And if ever there's been some hope, 4-4 this season on the road. And the thing is, Yale finds themselves 3-6 at home. So I'm going to tail this Sharp Respected Betting action here. I think it's a lot of points to be had out there. And I just kind of go back to that adage where it's like, all right, you know, yeah, we've got Yale coming off that loss to Harvard. But was that a look ahead spot, or is there some dissension in the ranks? Because if you're Yale, you're 11.5 point favorites against Harvard. Are you looking ahead to Brown? Probably not. It's probably more symptomatic here that all ain't right on the home front here. It'll be the 3rd straight home game for Yale, but I'll take the points. I think it's too many points for this Yale team to have to cover when I think that there are some issues taking place with the squad. Let's see. Bo Jackson says Raptors will remain on 31 wins this season. Their next home opponent after the Pacers are the Pistons, and Gematria Pistons sums to 31. Huh. All right. Okay. Jay Main. Been a minute. Got to throw some winners in. Nacho Vegas says, yo, dog, great analysis on Super Bowl today with Shark. Thanks. You got to look on the Patino tonight at the Garden. I do, my dude. Shout out to Nachos Vegas tuning in. I got it over on the Instagram side of things, my dude. I got it over on the Instagram side of things. The free play of the day is over there, and you'll have plenty of time to check it out. I not only have a side, I also have a total. And my free plays are 4-2 in the last 6. So I'll drop the link in the chat. You can see, of course, all of the content, all of our social, I was going to say social services, but that doesn't sound right, does it? Ain't no social services here. Trevor of all trades says the NHL isn't even on break for one full day, and I'm already betting on the AHL. Go Grand Rapids. At least you haven't gotten to college yet. I'm 3-0 on my QMJ and OHL betting. Junior hockey, my dude. Blake M says Celtics -5.5 for him tonight. Trevor of all trades says I'm on the Griffins of money line -120 in the first period. Some AHL Grand Rapids action. I did want to shout out. Let me see. I did give out 2 golf bets this week. And the first one was Maverick McNeely to get in the top 10 at plus, I think it was like plus 385. Maverick McNeely is now tied for 11 through 2 rounds. So there's still some value in that play. Probably not going to be the same price tag as it was, but just keep in mind it was around a plus 380. Also, Thigala. Shahid Thigala to finish in the top 20 at plus 200, I think that was 205, something like that. And he is sitting at tied for 11th as well. So golf action's looking pretty good. As I digress and get this thing off the tracks here already, just one play in, but it's okay. We only got a few plays. Tonight. Bradley and Northern Iowa on deck here for this evening. The big bad Bradley bullshitters here are opening up to 3.5. They're at 3.5. 58% of the bets, 61% of the cash are on the Bradley side of things. There's been no movement. It has moved a little bit on the not the money line, but the price of the 3.5 has moved a little bit. So I say there's been no movement, but it's essentially coin flippy. And despite being coin flippy, it's sitting around -112 right now. So, and then if you look at it, you can kind of see it's reflected in the money line. It's gone from plus 160 to plus 143 on the Bradley side of things here. But look, you can't get in the Bradley. I mean, I guess you could do whatever you want to do. If it's me and I'm you, I'm not getting in the Bradley business here. 0-16 when they're in the dog roll against a team that's averaging more than 13.5 assists on a total over 129.5 if they were previously a favorite. In other words, you put them in the dog roll against a game that should have pace and a team that keeps the ball moving, and they can't keep up. There's that separation gap between the two programs when it comes to kind of I don't want to call Northern Iowa elite, but at least from a conference perspective, clearly the better of the squads. And I like that factor. So I looked at that though, and I saw the 134.5. I like Northern Iowa unders. Doesn't take too much to get me there. Now I say that 16-8 on the Bradley Brave side of things. It's not ugly, but when you start drilling in, we see Northern Iowa dictates pace and tempo at home. Their defense just shuts teams down. I mean, look, Illinois State, 59 points. Valpa, 54 points. Evansville, 55 points. Now, the Salukis, all right, 50 points. I mean, the bottom line is 50 points. And so I found out as I started drilling deeper into this game that they put Bradley's team total at 65.5. And if we're talking 50s from Northern Illinois' defense, that's a lot of room to wiggle and jiggle to try to keep that thing under 65.5. So that's what I did. I jumped it on the Bradley team total under 65.5. Woo! Oof, that one popped my eardrums. Jerry Davis says he's on the under 134 in the Bradley Northern Illinois game. Played both top 20s. Thank you, sir. Gary Davis says Loyola Chicago back on the take tonight. Jay says Bradley on the road has been bad. Bad on the road. Jerry Davis says, I left off Patriots under 2.5 sacks I used for a parlay piece. I'll tell you what. If you haven't listened to the show already, you go back and listen. I talked about some MVP candidates, some big paydays. And here's a spoiler alert. They ain't the quarterbacks. I don't see the quarterbacks being the MVPs of this Super Bowl here. Young, inexperienced bucks, as you will. Let's go on to this last game for the college hoops side of things. And it's Belmont versus UIC. And I took an over in this game, and it was simply Belmont dictating pace. You know, we're looking at Belmont. I guess to start off, we're looking at Belmont open at -3.5. They're now down to 1.5. So small favorite, despite the money coming in. 70% of the bets and 74% of the cash coming in on the Belmont side of things here. 88% of the bets, 87% of the cash on the total. It's gone from 151.5 to nowhere. It's sitting at 151.5. Belmont should come in here. And the problem for a lot of teams when it comes to playing a team like Belmont, especially the UIC Flames, Belmont's flashy, man. They like to go out there. They like to shoot the 3 ball. They're really effective at shooting inside the paint. They limit defensive second chances and they maximize their offensive rebounding opportunities here. Yeah, both teams are 11-11 against the spread. So the number has to be the right spot, I guess is what it comes down to here. And look, they're just red fucking hot right now. They're putting up back-to-back 103-point games for Belmont. Back-to-back 103. Crazy. Their defense the last 3 games has been continually worsened. 77 points at Valpa, 86 against Murray, 90 against Drake. They're soft. They're getting exposed. But they are an over team. They are 9-0 to the over. If they're on the road, the total's under a 171.5, and they shot better than 50% and made over 8 threes the previous game. In other words, once they're hot, they stay hot. And you could see that. Look at January 31st, 103 points against Murray. February 3rd, 103 points against Drake. UIC, 103 points against you. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it's going to get there tonight, but I think that we can certainly get ourselves over this total. It's a little bit, we need UIC to do something, you know, and if you look at UIC's team total, so we just talked about back-to-back 103-point spots for Belmont. UIC's team total sitting at 75. We should get over this number. This should be a little comfortable over for us in college hoops at the 9 p.m. window. Let's take a look at what's happening in college basketball right now. There's a game going on. There's a game going on right now. God damn, Loyola Chicago's getting busted up right now. What a bunch of bums. I took the 10.5 with Loyola, Illinois. Man, it went from 11.5 down to 9.5. And they're getting stomped right now through the first 13.5 minutes by 17 points. Where's your fucking heart? Come on. All right, let's go to the NBA really fast here. Wrap up these 2 games for you guys and get everybody on their way. Set them on their way. 6.5s have moved to 5.5s in the Miami Heat game. And look, I text Nasty Nate the other day. I said, I'm a big fan of, Nikola Vucevic, of course. You guys know I'm a Vucevic guy. Vucevic's my guy. He's part of the stable of players that I've had going back to the last year. And he's now a Boston Celtic. But I got to fade the Celtics tonight. I get that they're a better team now with the trades, the acquisitions that they made at the deadline, the gaps that they filled. But this one comes down to those players coming into the lineup tonight for the first time. So their newest acquisitions are moving into the lineup for the first time. And frankly, I always think that's trouble. You know, you're moving lineups, you're shuffling things around. There's guys got hurt feelings. There's new guys in the BD and everybody in the locker room. There's a whole new pecking order when it comes to trying to figure out this Boston thing. And in that position, at least for the first game, I don't want to back a team that's got the new players and the new pieces. I get that they'll be better in the long haul. Yes. But I can't trust them tonight. So it's really that simple for me when it comes down to it. You know, there's some trends that kind of talk about both sides of things. Like it's kind of been nullified, I guess, by both sides of activity. This one just simply came down to it's a tight card. There's not a lot of edges on this card in general tonight. And so as I found what I thought to be the edge here, it just comes down to a team that's got new players coming in and just trying to do my best to stay away from some of those spots. Now, line's coming down on top of that. I think that the Miami Heat win this game outright. Road dogs against the stronger division rivals are 25-10. They're 8-2 in their last 10 spots. So, it is a Miami Heat spot. We do see the line coming down on these guys here. Away dogs after several home games against a conference opponent are 11-2. They've won 5 in a row in those spots as well. And look, if you take the road dog off a home loss, the bounce back's in play at 78-44. So for all the aforementioned reasons, I'll jump in on the Miami Heat. See if we can't get that money. What's this one? I guess that's an extra. I was looking, I'm like, there's only one game left on the slides and there's 2 on the carousel over here. And then the last game I got for you guys, I'm going to go back to the clip show. It's that time of the year where the good teams from last year that started off shitty are bouncing back. They're 379 and 263 overall in this position. You were a top contender, less than a sub 500 team. Bounce back opportunity. And I think that's what happens here. When I call it the bounce back, I'm looking at it because, we were looking at the Clippers the other night, right? That was a pretty big play. I think at -2.5. But they're playing the lowly Sacramento Kings here. You got to look at a spot to pounce on these Kings anytime you get. And I think it's fair enough as far as the points are concerned to get involved with this team. Short favorites, equal rest, below average defenses are 21-6. They've cashed 7 in a row. I don't think there's a lot of ways to pretty this thing up other than to say the Sacramento Kings are bad. The Clippers are in a bounce back position. And the line's sitting at 4 for a reason. So I'm good. I know it's moved a little bit. Look, I like a parlay as well. I like a parlay with the Timberwolves. Where did I do? Let me see what I did. Let me pull it open. Let me show you something. Regular season favorites that have the same amount of rest as their opponents, by the way. 20 straight winners in this position. They are the Clippers tonight in that position. That's why I said, let me anchor these Clippers into a couple of spots that I think can cash for us. And so I got a nice little parlay going with, I can't believe it's not over yet, but Loyola Chicago being down that many points does not make me feel good. The Pistons, the Clippers, the Trailblazers, and the Timberwolves are plus 378. It's pretty square. I get it. But there's a number of boosts out there from a lot of these books. And so you can take that square and beef it up a little bit, especially when you see a team like the Clippers have that 20-game win streak in their back pocket. Yeah, the 4.5. I'm good. I don't mind it. I laid the spread too. I like the spread, and I put him in there on the money line. I'm not concerned about 4.5. 74% of the bet, 75% of the cash on the clip show. It's moved 2 points in that direction. So there is correlated movement because we all know things are straight fucking garbage. And not only are they straight garbage, sitting at 12-40, but on top of everything else, how can you not look at the fact that they're on a shit losing streak on top of it? 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. They haven't won a game since before they started carrying that Olympic torch around. So anyhow, that's the way we're going to put a bow on this show tonight, you guys. It was a shorty pants, a little shorty pepper. We got some action to do. So bets to make. We got some plays to pop. We got some technology to fix. So this works out very well. And look, I'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Betting the board with my guy C Mac. Like I told you guys, do not sleep on that college basketball show. We fired off 8 straight winners before we even sniffed a loss, and that loss was by the hook. So God damn, if that's not one of the best college basketball shows on the planet. You get it Saturday. It's a great card. I got to get the capping, finish up the capping there, get the UFC capping underway. Cap. Good luck to everybody in your action. Smash that thumbs up. Check it out if you haven't done so. Go look at the plays for that UConn and St. John's game. 4-2 in the last 6 on the free plays of the day. Good luck to you guys. Have yourselves a great night. And I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. See you guys for